Hey, ideas. Um, so I stayed up till like 1 in the morning last night trying to figure out a bunch of stuff in OnShape. This is actually the kind of stuff that I really like to do in that I was exploring and learning and teaching myself, and so I don't want to say I was having a good time, but it was a nice break from changing diapers and doing that type of stuff. So I learned a bunch of stuff, which is gonna. I think we're gonna. I was gonna plan to say like, here's the summative on Thursday, get it done by Tuesday. I think I'm going to extend that by a classroom day here, um, just because I got so much more stuff to teach. So let's head on over to my document. And I actually have two drawings already created here because I've been playing around and learning how to do that. Um, that one doesn't look like it's ever going to come up. But I'm going to go ahead and while that one's thinking about ever coming up here, we're going to create a new drawing. So this is how you're going to start. This will be the first video I have you watch on this. Yours is going to be, I think, you want to set to ANSI, show OnShape drawings, and you're going to want to choose an ANSI A inch one, and we're going to have no view selected. That's going to give us our sheet. You'll see when it pops up here. I'm going to rename this stream drawings, and we'll probably make that be our final one. So here on the front, so like the ANSI gives you this title block, which has lots of good stuff, like my name, the date created, checked approved. All this stuff is in there. We can adjust the title. What I'm going to do on this one is I am going to uh, I'm going to place my assembly in here, and I'm going to create just kind of a a cover page. So you can see that it's not that big. It's also showing like the front view. I'm going to go to a isometric. All I want to see is an isometric view, and it looks like I can at least double this. I don't think I can get to 1:1. Let's try 1:1. I think that's going to be too big. Yeah, it would fit without the title block. Let me see. Can I just shove it up there in the corner? Yeah, we're going to do that. It's going to be a little off center, and we're going to deal with that. So a nice big train. We don't really see the cow catcher in this view. I'm not sure how to orient it back to that other view. I'm going to go with this. I'm actually going to also tell it, I'm going to right click. I'm going to say show shaded view, and that's going to allow me to, excuse me, it'll bring in all the colors and all that good stuff. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to toss some text in here, and think of this like your cover page, right? So most of the stuff would go in the bot or in the title block, but I'm going to call this OnShape train project. OnShape, the N is supposed to be lowercase. Come on, not exactly fast. And we can like change the size, and we can change the font and all that good stuff. And it's so let's make this, it's like triple the size. So we're gonna go to 3600. That's probably not gonna, if I hit enter, it's not gonna be in that window. Can I move this left? Not right now. How far off can I drag it? All right, so we'll get it way over there. It's gonna be off the page. I think I'll be able to move this afterwards. Don't appear to be able to move it right now. Let's do a center on this thing. Come down here, and I'm gonna say like example by Mr. Yitzen, and I'm gonna change just I'll just change some formatting on that in a moment. Like I can highlight, I can move this. I'm going to highlight example by and make that a lot smaller. It's just going real slow here. By the time it ever shows what I've highlighted, it's like 2 minutes later. So it's hard to figure out. I get no feedback here. Let's say it's check, and let's see, escape. So I'm no longer doing that, and I think I can now drag and move this in there. There you go. You can put like your period, your name, all that good stuff in there. Obviously, that stuff can kind of go in a title block as well, but this is kind of like my title page. Remember to add any sheets. I'm going to come over here to insert sheet. And the next thing that I want to do is I want to kind of mimic this. So an exploded view with all my drawings and everything here. So what you need to do is you need to go to your assembly, and we need to create an exploded view. And I've already been doing that. So let me see if I can delete my exploded view. Let's go with delete. All right, so let's see. How do I close this? If I just pull that over, does that make it go away? No, yeah, there we go. Just double click it. All right, so one of these tabs, there's 3 tabs over here. BOM table, a configuration panel, and exploded views. We'll do with the BOM, and we're going to do exploded views, but first we'll do exploded views. So I'm going to click this last button, and it pops out, and there's nothing there. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger, not too, well, I don't need that much. I'm going to say add exploded view, and this puts us like in another mode where we are now able to kind of pull this apart and achieve something like this. So we'd like to get, so it looks something like this. I like to avoid things like this where I have some overlapping on the parts themselves. So I try and get it so that it's pulled out even a little bit further because I don't like any overlap. So here's how it works. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and you're going to check, or you're going to click the items that you want to move. So right now I'm going to start with these linkage pins, and then you're going to drag from the arrows in the direction that you want it to go. So drag in the direction that makes sense that it's going to pull apart in. So which direction you want to pull? You're going to want to pull this way. I'm going to move it pretty dang far. That's probably not even enough. So they moved it 5.5 inches about. And you could key in a value there. Let's do it. Let's put it at 6. And that will eventually move. And it kind of went off that screen, but that's okay because we will change up the view here in a moment. And I hit check when you're done with one movement. And then you can select the next thing that you want to move. And then you want to drag that. And I'm going to drag that all the way back to here. And then I'm going to hit check to say, yep, that's the movement I wanted. Select the next thing I want to move. So I'm going to select these 2 axle pins. And then I'm going to grab the arrow and drag. You want to make sure you grab the arrow. I'm going to come as close as I can to that linkage arm. Because the alternative hit check is, let's do both of these wheels. You see the arrows kind of going the wrong way. You also see when I hover, I get like this, there's like a little like, I don't know, circle with 2 lines coming off of it. That's for like an angle, and I could rotate these 2 things. I don't want to, so I'm going to hit X here and get rid of that. That should have gone back. There they go. And now let's, if I click that one and that one, I can now grab this arrow and move it off of that. So that looks good. Let me take and move the cow catcher off the front. So move that off the front. Hit check. Let's leave the stack for right now. Now I know that like I can't see any of these parts here, so these parts on the back side I'm going to try and move even further, or at least as far as these, so that they're not overlapping the body itself. I'm going to leave the body where it's at. So I'm turned around. You see like how far I move those wheels off, there's kind of like an overlap here. So I want to move these wheels even further off just to show that they have been pulled completely off the train. So just as a heads up, this is kind of what it's going to look like from the other angle. So let's make sure we move these a little bit further than the other ones. So I move those like 6. Let's see what that came in as. 8. That'll be fine. Don't want to click that. So you might do that where you accidentally click the next thing. Just click it again and it puts it back. Hit check again, and now you can begin to move the next thing. Click that, move that. Let's move it just a little bit more. Hit the check. Select our axle pins. Didn't get that one. Drag those back out here. Check. Grab the wheels. Grab that arrowhead, which seems to be going the wrong direction. We'll see how that looks if I kind of go back around to the other side. That's pretty good. So I think that looks really good, actually. I won't have to pull the stack up too high at all. So let's hit check. Grab the stack, move that. I don't have to pull it that high at all. And then hit the check on that. Move to the back. We've got 2 parts back here. These have to move kind of a long way. I'm going to go to this one. Back there. Nope. Click that again. I only want to do one at a time. Oops. I'm just going to hit X. I don't want to do that at all. So let's try again. Grab that pin. Move only that pin. Let's go pretty far. Hit check. Grab that magnet. Move only that magnet. Put it pretty close to that pin. Hit check. We can always go back and edit these and move them around a little bit. I think that's going to be my main view. That's what I want my main view to be. That might be my main view. Actually, I think this is going to be my main view because that's showing front, top, and right. I don't know how to change those around, so we're just going to deal. And you can go back and you can edit and you can change the distances on these things. So how to do that? Let's say I click step 6 here. I double checked it, and that one, it just moved the wheels back, the linkage peg. That's these here at 8 inches. So it moved everything that's after that back to the start. But I'm not going to move it anything. I'm going to move it just to 8 inches exactly. If I hit enter, those did move, and I hit check, and everything else goes back. So you can just type in the value and get that to go to the right distance. All right, and actually I haven't done this yet. Let's put this exploded view into a sheet. I'm guessing that I'm gonna screw this part up, but let's see what happens. So I'm gonna click done, and it's like, oh my god, I didn't do anything. Well, it's this exploded view over here that we wanna put onto a sheet. So I have my stream drawings, got this new sheet. I'm gonna say insert, and I want an assembly. Let me say insert assemblies, but how do I put in that? And that's where I knew I was going to have problems. View orientation, no, explode position. Oh, here we go. Explode 1. It's going to take a second, but I found it. And then I want to make sure that this is in isometric, and that's going to be the wrong view that I don't quite want. But it looks pretty good. Nothing's overlapping. This looks pretty dang good to me. I'm going to see, well, I'm probably going to run out of room. We're going to leave it at this scale. Let's check and see how big 1/2 or, 1 to 2 is. Come on. I think my computer is chugging here. Yeah, I'm going to run out of room with this because I need to throw balloons on here, and I'm going to put a bill of materials. So let's go back to 1 to 3. not great, but it will fit, and I'll get all my information on here. I can move this view later. So back to my assembly. One of the other tabs on here is BOM table, and I have already done some editing to this. Yours is probably, well, yours is going to come in with an item number and a quantity attached to that. Let me right click on this tab right here, and I'm going to say remove column. It's going to have another column here for part number, and none of ours have a part number. And I can honestly, we can get rid of this description here too. Remove column. So there's I've got two columns. We've got the number, the item number, which is a default, kind of like in the order in which you added them to the assembly. And we're going to add a couple of columns here. I don't want to add part number. I want to get rid of part number, but we're going to add name. And if you had been naming your pieces properly, so if I go to my wheel here, I've named this document, or it's not a document, I've named this part studio CY_wheel. I did the same thing over here to the part. So the part is the name that populates on that BOM. And if we go back to my assembly, we will see that all of mine updated properly except this one right here, number 7. And if you can see when I'm hovering over 7, back here, there is, we can see it's the hitch peg, which I guess I've called hitch pin over here. And I've left that just as part 1. So if I right click and say rename, and I'm going to do CY underscore hitch, I'm going to call this hitch peg, because I think that's what it's actually called on the other sheet. And if I go to my assembly now, that is automatically updated, which is pretty nice. The other thing I guess you can add is, I think we can add material. Unit of measure, yeah, material right there. And some of them I didn't put any material on. I'll go back and I'll change those so that they're ABS. I used the, see it's a socket head, socket button head, and it's going to have a bunch more things in the name, I think. Cap screw 1 inch, it's going to maybe even say 1 quarter. So it's giving me all that information all on that one. That one's going to be stainless steel, and I can't really I can change it to a couple different things, but I can't put it as ABS. So like everything else ABS, I'll do that later. That looks good for my bill of materials. The reason why I wanted to do that is now if I go to my Stream Drawings tab down here, I can come up here and say BOM table, flattened. Oh, and it's huge, but we're going to hopefully change some stuff around. I clicked, oh yeah, okay, so this, maybe we can edit that description in the BOM over here in my assembly, and then maybe we can